I think that really what I think that's most important to me though, that we are certainly seeing, and I feel like here's like this is a good place for like different like kind of like shout outs or whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call them, where you have somebody like a Hillel Fold who's like going into startups and meeting with them and talking with them and hearing about their startup. You get a certain level of transparency. Now, of course, as an investor, you're looking for a different type of transparency, but most of us are not the investors. We're people more that are interested to learn from that world and to gain from that world and to utilize that world. So Hillel's going into these startups and learning about them and seeing, like, again, getting transparency directly from the people that are doing them. Or you have somebody like a Cedric Bollag who's doing the same thing, where he's meeting with all these different startups and different companies, where you get an insight that you wouldn't necessarily get, that we can all learn from. And that's kind of, I feel like that's kind of me stepping out of my comfort zone, and us as Kav L'Noar stepping out of our comfort zone, saying, you know what, let's get all that feedback. Let's learn from everybody. And the only way we can do that is by us stepping out. So that's kind of, that's how I see this.
So when you say startup, you mean transparency. You mean optimal solutions from working with other people who are sharing their thoughts on how to grow.
So I was thinking in my head that like I could like correct that and say like optimized solutions or streamlined solutions. But yeah, yeah, that's the concept.
Okay, great, awesome. I want to pivot now to another question. You know, when we talk about the intersection, so now we're talking about it, right? The intersection of startup and not-for-profit, right? Where does one begin and the other end? One of the big pieces of startups is profit, right? They're making profit.
No, it's not. No, we're pre-revenue, we're pre-profit, we're pre-income.
Okay, theoretically, right? Maybe we're not talking about WeWork per se. Maybe we're talking about I don't know, something else. With
And also, I think I'm going to cut you off because
yeah,
I think
ahead.
I understand what I think I definitely understand what you're saying. What you're saying essentially is that a startup at the end of the day is supposed to at some point become a profitable business, and a nonprofit at no point is supposed to become a profitable business.
Yeah.
But what the question that you're asking is, what is the difference? How do I say that our nonprofit is like a startup if a startup at the end of the day is expected to be a profitable business, and a nonprofit by definition is not supposed to be a profitable business? I think that's what you're asking.
Yes.
Okay. And so to that, I say, first of all, even though everybody will say that a business starts and ends with its profit, if a business isn't functioning, the profit is never going to be long lasting. And I think that's important. We'll start with that point. So everything under the hood is exactly the same. The only thing that's different is definition of profit and income model. Those are the two things that are different here. With that being said, we still have to work off of an income model that's sustainable. So yes, it's true, when a startup is looking at their business model, at some point they're going to have to project, we're going to have X number of or X percentage of profit based on our product at any point. And with a nonprofit, we're looking at it, we're saying we're going to have X amount of impact in confluence with X amount of sustainable income at any given point. So we're actually describing the same profit, but the profit margins are different. The profit isn't just based on dollars and cents for us, it's also based on defining impact. By the way, the more a startup can define their impact and their product and measure it, the more profitable they're going to be. So the only thing that's going to change is the dollar amount in the bank account. Other than that, they're essentially the same thing.